Hello, Dr. Elise Lasco here, acupuncturist. Welcome back to Pregnancy Series Part 3. I want to focus on mental emotional health during pregnancy for this video. And as a quick update and follow-up, straighten my hair for you guys. And have some new additions to the office behind me, as you might notice. But I wanted to follow up to my previous video around talking about the first trimester, talking about pregnancy sickness. One of my biggest triggers has been sensitivity to smell. And I wanted to highlight that part of the reason why I think the sensitivity of smell is so difficult for me is because I am a 5-element acupuncturist. And for those that may or may not know about 5-element acupuncture, we diagnose based on color that we see at the side of the eye, the odor that we get from somebody, the sound of your voice, and the emotion that you may evoke or we may feel. And I actually think because I've been cultivating the ability to sense somebody's odor for so long, that I think that's part of the reason why smells have been really overwhelming to me. But I will say it has heightened my ability to smell and to catch people's odors and diagnose more accurately, although it has been really hard for me. So that's just my quick update on that. I am now 21 weeks. I have been feeling better and have still had some setbacks in the last couple of weeks, have gotten sick a few times. Some smell related. I think now the smells have been linked a lot to my anxiety, and so that's what I want to talk about today is the anxiety and just the overall emotions in pregnancy. No one really seems to talk about this. When somebody's pregnant, usually you just see the pregnancy announcement, you see the beautiful maternity photos, and then the baby comes out and you see the most joyous photos of like, I've never been happier in my life. I've just had this little baby. And of course, those are all valid. And I know some people who go through pregnancy and they absolutely love it and they're happy and they're joyful. That's wonderful. I totally get that. And I'm here to speak to anybody today that may be struggling with their emotions. I know I've been struggling a lot with my own emotions, although it might not seem that way. You might see my Instagram and see these videos and be like, oh, wow, she looks so happy and great. And that's not been the case all the time. And it's been a very up and down, just waves for me. And I feel like part of me is a bit traumatized from the first trimester into the second. I was really still getting sick pretty consistently to 20 weeks and still got sick a little bit this week, although I felt better, like I said, and I feel like it's triggered a lot of anxiety, and particularly the anticipation of catching a smell, the thought of throwing up. It's been really hard on me mentally. Throwing up has always been, a big trigger for me. And whenever I get that feeling of needing to throw up, it creates more anxiety. And I will say, as I highlighted before, I was taking a lot of rigorous board exams just before pregnancy, and I actually was throwing up pretty much every day leading up to my California test. So, as mentioned also, my spleen and stomach were pretty weak going into this, and I've been blaming myself a lot for that it was my fault, that I didn't take more time to recover before getting pregnant. And I've had a lot of people tell me it's not my fault, and it might not be any different had I waited longer. Who knows? And, I have read a little bit about hyperemesis gravidarum, which is extreme nausea and vomiting in pregnancy that goes beyond the first trimester. And a lot of it is about the nervous system and the nervous system being regulated. So I do believe having a regulated nervous system going into pregnancy is important. And it's still okay if for some reason you go into pregnancy perfectly fine and you get triggered, you get sick. I really think it's really unique and different to everyone. For some people, it could be the nervous system being out of whack, but that might not always be the case. I hear so many situations that it's really hard to know, and I think it's the amount of hormones that I've read in some books about just not being able to detox some of the hormones for some people, and that creates more nausea, vomiting. So I just really want to highlight that, like, being sick for however long you're sick in pregnancy is going to affect your mind, body, and spirit no matter what. And it's just, for some people, they can be like, okay, I'm sick, but I know it's temporary and I'm gonna be better and I'm gonna have my baby at the end of this and it's gonna be amazing. And for others, it might not feel that way. You might feel disconnected from your baby. You might feel like it's really overwhelming. And I know for me, what's been really hard is that I really don't feel like myself. And the fear of this isn't going to feel better and that I'm then going to have my baby, although I will be so happy and grateful to have my baby, I'm afraid I'm going to experience postpartum depression and anxiety, or that the anxiety is going to continue. That's a real fear that I have, and I know a lot of other women share as well. And so I'm just coming on here to really highlight this and speak about it. I'm going to try to keep this a little bit shorter than my other videos, but I encourage whatever you need to get support. I think that's the most important thing to get through it. I had to call my mom, and she came out for 10 days a couple weeks ago and left last week. And she's coming back again for our grand opening for the acupuncture clinic next week. And she was happy to do it. And just having her here created some peace, just going through the day-to-day and having her there with me. She came to the clinic, she was at home with me, we did cleaning, we ran errands, we cooked food, and I cried a lot with her. And I think it was really healing for me, for both of us. And my mom could empathize with the fact that she remembered, although it's been, almost 40 years for her since she had babies, or 37 years maybe. Okay, anyways, doesn't matter. But she could empathize with not feeling like herself for a while. And that is a really hard feeling. And I just want to let everyone know to reach out to your community. If you need a mental health professional, there's so much support for pregnancy. I was able to get in contact with an organization called Bridge Prenatal through my insurance. They're local here to San Diego. They got me in with a therapist. They have a lot of other services, lactation consultants, doula support. So that's been helping me with the overwhelm, because that's another part of this, is that it's really overwhelming in today's times to have a baby. We have access to more information than we've ever had. Although that's good, sometimes it can create more anxiety because there's so many opinions about how to give birth, about how to care for yourself in pregnancy, how to care for a baby, how to raise a child, what to do about school, bottles, strollers. It's noisy. And so I know for me, that's also been really overwhelming, on top of running a clinic, starting a new business, getting the room ready, cleaning the house, and not to mention my energy isn't the same. And I know so many women, whether or not you may experience the emotional aspect, you might experience the pregnancy fatigue. And that over time can also take a toll on your emotions. Just not being able to do what you did before can be really frustrating. For me, it's like I can still not really stand the smell of my fridge, and I dropped something out and made a huge mess in the fridge this morning. Nobody was up to help me, so I had to clean this big mess, and that was kind of traumatizing. So it's all these little things, right, that come together that can make it really overwhelming. And so my encouragement is to seek community. If you need mental health support, whether that's a therapist or a support group, a psychiatrist, talking to your doctor, your OB provider that can provide a referral, or midwife, And then there's so many other resources out there. For me, I think I've mentioned I've sought chiropractic care and acupuncture, cranial sacral massage for my whole pregnancy, and they all make a difference. And I'm here for you. Pregnancy is something that I specialize in, and I am going through it myself. So I very much understand, and I'm happy to sit here with you, to cry with you, to complain, to whine as much as is needed because it's hard, and it's okay for it to be hard. And I am tired of women just shutting down your emotions or invalidating them, because I hear a lot of, I just need to be grateful because I was able to get pregnant and that I'm having a baby. Absolutely, you can be grateful and still be uncomfortable and be sad or anxious or depressed. It's part of it. So that's all I have for you all today. I hope that this can be helpful to some of you. Anyone who needs support, you can reach out to me at fernacupuncture.com or send me a DM or comment in this video. I am very much here for you and your questions. Have a wonderful day.